let's get into it, Mama. Let's talk first about the decision to Alfred Hitchcock yourself into the film with that beautiful scene that you have with Jennifer in that hotel lobby. How did that come about? I just need to know everything.
Well, okay, so I am, next to Jennifer, the biggest Aretha Franklin fan out there. And I came onto the film after Aretha Franklin had already passed. So I never met her and I never got a chance to tell her what she meant to me. And so I thought that when it was time to cast that fan character, that I wanted, everything that was written was how I felt. So I decided to put myself in it so I could say those words to out loud somehow. And I don't know, saying it to Jennifer, playing Aretha made me feel like I said it to real Aretha Franklin.
I love the fact that you and Tracy, with your theatrical backgrounds, and the fact that you are Black women attacking this project, it meant everything to me, because oftentimes when we have a legend or a legacy, someone like Aretha Franklin, it's done by someone else's vantage point. And I just would love to get your thoughts about the importance of that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel that for so long, I mean, even a few years ago, it would have been a white man writing and directing this film. And I feel like I'm over being told who we are as Black people, as Black women. And I felt like when they brought me on to direct it, I knew that I wanted to bring Tracy, who I've worked with a lot and who has grown up in the Baptist church. Her father was a preacher, her grandfather was a preacher. And you can't do an Aretha Franklin story without it being steeped in authenticity. And I just wanted our Black female voices to be the driving force behind this movie, because one thing about Aretha Franklin is she was proud to be Black and she loved Black people. And so I just knew that this movie had to reflect that down to its bones. And so that was really important to me, because I just feel like the time when we let other people tell us who we are in film and television is gone.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one. Having said that, I know Aretha is one of your favorite artists. What is that Aretha Franklin song that when you hear it, it just does something to you?
Okay, so when I was a little girl, I used to love to sing Dr. Feelgood, even though I didn't know what it meant.
Okay, wait. Let's just unpack that for a second. As a little girl, you like Dr. Feelgood? Okay, let's just unpack that for a second.
It just was so groovy, and it was so like, it just made you feel so funky when you sang it. And I did not know, literally had no idea what the words meant. Until much later.
That is comedy on a whole nother level. Okay, let's move forward from the decades of being a little girl. And now that you are a fully formed woman, what is the Aretha Franklin song that does it for you now?
For me, it's Ain't No Way. And it wasn't originally, part of our song list for the film. But then when I was rehearsing with Jennifer, well before, I found out that she also loved that song. And I thought, we're going to figure this out. So I asked, them to get the rights to it. I talked to Tracy, and we figured out how to make it work inside of the film. And it is my absolute favorite song. And that sequence is my favorite sequence in the film. I just love it so much.
Yes. Now, I'm gonna flip back to the theater background again. Is this one of the reasons why the cast is so strongly laden with like Tony nominated and Tony Oscar winning actors? Because there wasn't a weak link in the bunch.
No, I don't believe in weak links. So
I kind of love you. Like, I need to talk to you again, like for an hour at some point. You're hilarious.
I mean, I do come from the theater. I did a lot of years working in the theater. There's two things. One, I knew that I wanted everybody to sing live in this movie. Jennifer has the vocal chops to do it. And I know from doing musicals and theater that the live performance does not compare. The emotional intensity that you have to achieve when you're doing an Aretha Franklin movie in music had to be live. And so that meant that everybody who sang had to be able to sing and act. And so that's why I looked to my, my old friends on Broadway. because I knew that they would be able to deliver a song live as many times as I needed them to, as well as act. And that's where you get Heather Headley and Audra McDonald and Titus, who I've known for a very long time. And the wonderful actresses who played her sisters, also, wonderful theater actors. And so for me, that was it. That was a no-brainer. And I also felt like Aretha Franklin had such class and taste, and she was so cultured that the film had to reflect that. She was the best of us, and I wanted the best of us in that film.
Ooh, very well stated. Unlike the other project, you end with her going into the Amazing Grace concert. What was the decision to end her story there and just have a few little liner notes at the end of the film, as opposed to delving into some other areas? Because in this particular feature film, we see a side of the personal life of Aretha Franklin I don't think most people knew. Like, I don't think people knew that she, had a little nipty nip from time to time to curb them demons. Everybody knew about that relationship, that contentious relationship with her father. And you can see just how contentious, that relationship is with her father. If you watch that Amazing Grace documentary, you can see the tension between her and Reverend C.L. Franklin in that documentary. You see the difference of her singing when he's not there and when she's singing when he is there. So I just wanted to know why you decided to end with that.
Well, that was one of her most successful albums. And when I pitched my idea for the film to the studio and the producers, I said that I wanted the film to begin in the church and end in the church, because I felt like that was a really deep examination of her journey. And I also said I did not want it to be a birth to death film, because I feel like when you see movies like that, it all feels rushed. You have to get all the events in, and then I don't feel like you can really spend time with the character. And I wanted it to be intimate. I wanted us to feel like we were in her life and we really got to know her as she made these complicated decisions, as she grew from a girl into a woman. And so that's why I was like, it's not going to be the whole thing. And I also felt like that album was one of her most triumphant moments. And I wanted to end the film on a triumphant note. I wanted it to be inspiring. I wanted us to feel like, I want to know more about her. I want to go away and listen to her music and learn more about her. That's why.
Well, Liesl, I was so excited to see if you don't know anything about me, I hope that you remember this about me and going away from this conversation. I am a huge proponent and cheerleader for female filmmakers, regardless of what lane or color or background they come from, because I think our voices are important. I think that a big megaphone needs to be, and a big spotlight needs to be shed on it to show that, we can hang in there just as tough as the dudes, and in some cases, even better.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I so appreciate you. And the fact that you are out here illuminating our voices. We need you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much for taking time to talk to me today. You were a hard one to get down, honey, but I got you.
I am so glad that we did it. I really am. And I look forward to speaking to you again.
I do too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.